I gave myself just a week to become a Rocket League freestyler, but what would that look like? Would it be worth it? And would a week even be enough? Well, in this video, we're gonna find out the answer to all of those questions. But I'm not trying to learn the most flashy mechanics out there. Instead, I'll be working on mechs that are actually practical for competitive play. Because as a GameSense player, I want to consistently be able to make certain plays in the air that would make it a lot easier to stay in GC3. However, each of the first 6 days will also have a bonus mechanic that could be literally anything. So what do these 7 days even look like? Let's start with day 1, which begins the same way as all the other days. A 30-minute warm-up consisting of the same 3 workshop maps, 10 minutes each. That way, we can see if my scores improve, stay the same, or somehow get worse each day. The first map is Air Dribble Challenge, where you have to keep the ball off the ground for as long as possible. On day 1, I got a little over 14 seconds, which wasn't bad considering this was my first time playing this map. The second map is Air Dribble Hoops. Very similar to the first map, but this tests your air dribbling in many different situations. The first level where I really started to struggle was level 4 because you had to air dribble it over this wall at such a tight angle while still being able to get it across and score. Level 5 was also quite tricky because you had to get the ball up extremely high, just like the Air Dribble Challenge. I was stuck on this one for a couple of minutes, but eventually I managed to finesse my way to a goal here. Can I just like... There's no way. There's no way that worked. Okay. Now, I kind of cheated on some of these other levels because I didn't actually air dribble, which is obviously the whole point of the map. So going forward, I decided that I had to air dribble the ball in some way or else I'd have to redo the level. I did get through level 9 legit, backwards into an air dribble. Oh yeah! First try, but level 10 was the last one I got to before the timer ran out. The final workshop map is Obstacle Course 2, which is a pretty old map that I found from one of KevPert's videos, but is still very effective for warming up your air control. I decided to work on my air rolling by only holding down directional air roll throughout the course. There were some moments where I forgot to stick to that because of these really tight angles, but I ended up getting to level 23 out of 30 by the end of the 10 minutes. Now it was time for the main stuff. For the first 6 days, each day had a theme, with some of them building off of previous days, and the theme for day 1 was musties. Now, I was already quite consistent with musties on the ground, as you can see, but I mainly wanted to do them in the air because you can get a ton of speed and height on them that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise in certain situations. But first, I tried learning how to delay my musties to add that extra element of speed and surprise. Once I got the motion down without the ball, I tried doing it with the ball, but this is where it became much more difficult. My muscle memory wasn't used to delaying it, so I kept accidentally doing normal musties. I kind of started to get the hang of it though, and almost had a few bangers, but after taking so long just to get a few on target, I decided to stop working on delayed musties entirely. I instead moved on to the main 3 air setups, which were ceiling, sidewall, and flip reset musties, starting with the ceiling. I thought this would be the easiest of the 3, but at first I was messing up the setup even in slow motion. And even when I did get the right setup, I would sometimes accidentally turn my car sideways, which would mess it up, except for this attempt. Wow. I decided to get 3 ceiling musties in a row before moving on to the next setup. The first 2 weren't that great because I didn't get multiple hits through the musty like you're supposed to, but the third one was a lot better. Perfect setup. Yes, here we go. Okay, there's 3. Next up was the sidewall musty. This was a real struggle because I kept hitting it with the wrong part of my car, so I was getting no speed on the ball. It was nice to be able to keep the ball close to my car and go for something else from it, but that wasn't what I was going for. And just like last time, I wanted to get 3 in a row before moving on, but I was working on these for so long that I decided to just count these 3 even though they were all bad. Finally, it was time for the flip reset musties. I got 3 in a row pretty quickly, but these were just as atrocious as the other musties because once again, I got no power from them. But before ending the day, it was time for the daily bonus mechanic. For day 1, it was the breezy flick because it fit with the theme of musty flicks. I didn't have too much time left to spend on this one, so I just got a few attempts up before calling it a day about 3 hours in. I was very disappointed in how day 1 went. At this point, I started to worry that the rest of the days would be similar with very little progress. But thankfully, that was the worst day of the entire week, and it got so much better from here. On day 2, my best time on Air Dribble Challenge was actually worse than day 1's, which left me quite disappointed. And with my new rule for Air Dribble Hoops, I only got to level 7 this time because I was stuck on it for quite a while. And finally, I got to level 21 on the obstacle course, so I got a worse score on every map. Not a great start, but the rest of the day was way better because the theme was dodge control. This would really allow me to work on my creativity in the air, unlike with day 1. I once again took inspiration from KevPert's videos, and he mentioned the 3 types of dodges to practice are touch then dodge, dodging right into the ball, and pre-flips. I spent 30 minutes on each of the 2 training packs, and these are the highlights. Each pack has many different scenarios, so I was able to get a bunch of satisfying goals. Like for this one, I got a cross-map pop reset, which you'll be seeing a lot more of later in the week. Also, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have a chronic addiction to no-look double taps, so every time I got a double tap opportunity, I couldn't help myself. I also had some moments where I was really close to scoring something insane, but was just off the mark. Oh my god, bro. The second pack was pretty similar to the first pack, but at this point, I felt like my air control was fully warmed up, and I really started to get some juicy clips. Yo, dude, these flick. One touch into a flip. Ooh. You know we got a no-look of just random scenarios. You can kind of pre-flip into it. Oh, that was good. The goal is to try and pre-flip or W. Whoa! Beautiful tennis, but whatever. Oh. I also got a Zen touch at one point while messing around, but that won't be the last time you see that. Technically, I was supposed to do this before the training packs, but I worked on my dodge control a little more with this 3D sideswipe map by first moving around without any air roll for 5 minutes, then just directional air roll for 5 minutes, free air roll for another 5 minutes, and finally 5 more minutes of no restrictions. Then it was time for the bonus mechanic, which was ceiling pinches. I had scored some before, but wasn't entirely sure how to set them up consistently. It was actually really easy, and I got it down in just a few minutes. All you gotta do is make sure you're going supersonic with the ball, stay under it, line up the car, and time your flip like with any other pinch. I started to get some really fast ones. Holy mackerel, bro. 130? Pinch. Oh my god. That's another 130. I got the exact same speed, a 131, and nearly got one that would have been 142 kph. I was even able to place a pinch in the top corner at a pretty solid speed. I wanted to get 2 pinches in a row though before I was satisfied. These ones weren't super fast, but they still got the job done. At this point, I was a little less than 3 hours in. Since I wanted to keep things consistent, I decided that I had to train for 3 hours each day, including the 30-minute warm-up. With some of this extra time, I revisited the musties from yesterday. This time, it started to click after I took my time a bit more to line up my car before going for the flicks instead of rushing them. No, man! I can get that. Okay, there we go. See, we're getting it down now. I think I just needed to see that. I think I'm about to end stream here soon, but I ended up getting... Oh, come on. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. That's a good way to end it. On day 3, I still didn't beat my air dribble challenge record, but I was consistently getting 12 to 13 seconds. So I knew that getting to 15 seconds was inevitable one of these days. In air dribble hoops, I finally got past level 7 according to my rules because I was able to air dribble it into a pinch. And I also got past level 8 this time legit, but it was pretty simple. I even managed to get past level 10, which meant I was now at a new record for this map. I still had a couple minutes left before the 10-minute mark, so I kept going. It took me more time than I thought to beat level 11, so I only had one attempt to beat level 12. It was pretty much the same as level 11 but mirrored, and unfortunately I wasn't able to beat it. And for the obstacle course, I got to level 23, which tied my record, but I didn't have any time remaining to attempt level 24. So overall, this was my best warm-up session yet. The theme for day 3 was double taps, which was extremely fun because not only did I focus on fast double taps, but also sidewall doubles and corner wall doubles. Once I was able to get a couple speedy double taps in a row, I moved on to sidewall doubles, which are much tougher. Oh, come on. Dude, it's so easy to shoot it wide left. Wide right, though, that's kind of hard. Literally, I just need to get one, man. One. Oh! Nice shot. Okay, as I say, it's hard to shoot it wide right. I decided to come back to those and went for some corner wall doubles instead. I was able to score quite a few of those, and this is where my homie Fishy Dolphin popped into my chat and recommended some more training packs for me to use. By the way, he's a great streamer, so you should definitely go check him out on Twitch. There were some shots in this pack that didn't exactly fit the theme, but it was nice to get creative, and I almost peaked on this shot. No! Oh, I trolled. Eventually, I found some shots that focused on sidewall doubles, so I was finally able to score some after a little bit of advice. And now the question is, how do I... Oh my god, that's how. This corner wall double was way harder than the ones I did in the previous training pack, so I was only able to score this once. I ended up trying the bonus mechanic early, which was psychos, but once I started trying them, I was having too much fun and couldn't stop. First, there was just the redirect of the psycho without a setup touch, and I scored this pretty easily. But after that, there were a bunch of shots where you had to set up your own psycho, and each shot got progressively more difficult. I was stuck on the first shot for a while, and Fishy said he would sub if I was able to hit one. I gotta hit the ball first. Oh, maybe? Oh, come on! Okay, one bounce. I want to get a no bounce, but it's something, right? Hey, Fishy, appreciate the sub, dude. After that, I was on a roll. Oh, come on! Okay, yes. So, you know, we... Okay. Another one bounce? That was almost two bounce. Okay, wow. But shot 9 was by far the most difficult to score. I took a little break by scoring shot 10, which was a sidewall double that you had to set up on your own. Get in there. Bang. Come on. Then my cousin came into the chat and said he would give 10 subs if I hit a no bounce psycho on shot 9 in the next 10 minutes. So the pressure was on. Frick, dude. Wait. Dude. Oh, no! Oh my goodness, bro. No, I thought. But before I knew it, there was less than a minute left. No, man! Oh my... Time rip, bro. Even though I failed the challenge, he still gifted a sub, so shout out to Andrew. I still wanted to hit the shot though, so I gave myself 10 more minutes. No. Wait, it's okay, because I'm gonna score right here. Bang! Bang! Come on! I scored that one pretty quickly into the 10 minutes, so I decided to take it a step further and try to score a no bounce. Yeah, like that, that's perfect. Oh no. Wait! Oh! Come on! No! No! Come on now. No, don't bounce. Dude, I'm a freaking one bounce merchant. I didn't get a single no bounce in the end, but this day was still the most fun one yet. By the way, if you guys are enjoying so far, I'd really appreciate if you could hit that like button, and this is going to sound delusional, but let's see if we can get to 32k subs before the end of the year. Now let's get back to the video. On day 4, I started noticing improvement with keeping the ball up on air dribble challenge, and I was finally able to get to the 15-second mark. I got to level 11 on air dribble hoops and got to a new record of level 24 on the obstacle course. The theme for day 4 was wall stops, which actually built off of dodge control, but I actually had to go for the ball from different angles and land on the wall before making my play. Wall stops are super useful in game, especially at the higher level, because it allows you to keep control of the ball in very fast-paced or awkward situations, which can throw your opponents off guard and make it harder for them to defend plays in the air. Once again, this training pack was from a KevPert video, and in that video he explains how you're supposed to do each shot. I'm not going to talk about that too much, but you'll see from these highlights how some of these shots are set up differently than the others. I just gotta say, this double tap wall stop was pretty insane, even though I messed up the landing, and I accidentally got a crazy shot while going for this wall stop. Is that in? Oh my god, imagine scoring that in a game. But as I kept going, the setups got even more difficult. And this is why we practice. That was kind of clean. Okay, I'll take that. Heat seeker. Look like. Alright, bro. To actually go into some games for the first time and hopefully hit some of these. Ooh! Oh, that was nice. The last 10 shots in the pack focus on defensive wall stops, which are very common scenarios in a lot of my games. Off of the wall stop, you can either go for a strong clear or keep the ball close with a controlled air dribble. After finishing up the training pack, I also tried to practice something similar to wall stops except on the ceiling. This is a play I see more and more pros doing in RLCS, especially recently, and it really unlocks another element of control in their gameplay. Finally, the bonus mechanic of the day was the Mena Flip. This fits the theme of wall stops a little bit because you can actually get a wall stop with a Mena Flip in some cases, as you'll see in a bit. But first I worked on getting the motion down consistently. Then I used a training pack from King Ranny, which incorporated the ball as well. I also watched his tutorial on the mechanic, and he mentioned how you'd have to rotate your car less or more depending on how far away you were from the wall. This is something I definitely noticed, so I messed around with it a bit. Just like with all these mechanics, it's important to know when they're actually useful to use. Mena Flips are really good for challenges near the wall because of how quick you can recover and get all your wheels on the wall. Pairing it with wall dashes can allow you to speed up really quickly. Once I was able to do that combo a couple of times, that wrapped up day 4. On day 5, I was off of my record on the air dribble challenge by literal milliseconds, but I was able to get around 15 seconds multiple times, so I was getting more consistent. I got back to level 12 on air dribble hoops, but wasn't able to beat it before the buzzer. And on the obstacle course, I got all the way to level 25 and nearly got to level 26, but I messed up right at the end because it was hard to see the wall. Day 5's theme was pop resets. I used this training pack from Lake's tutorial on pop resets and followed his 3-level system. For level 1, I had to air dribble each shot by keeping a bit of separation between each touch. Level 2 was single pop resets. Now I already knew how to hit pop resets and have hit them many times in game before, so this wasn't too bad. I got some where the ball went quite far. Oh my god. Whoa. And some where the ball stayed extremely close. But that would be an issue for level 3, where I would have to double pop reset. In order to pull this off, I would need the first pop reset to get the right amount of distance so I could follow it up quickly with a second pop. This was way easier said than done though. Unfortunately, there were moments where I would get a good first pop and then just either freeze up and be too late to the ball, or just not get the reset at all. There were other times where I got a clean double pop just for it to be off target. I trolled, man. I freaking won. As you get older, I keep cutting myself off, essentially. Ah! Oh! I suck. Every time, bro. I did still get one in the end, but the finish wasn't the greatest. Oh, there we go. There's a double pop. The bonus mechanic of the day was the Evan pop. Not related to the pop reset at all, but they both have pop in the name, so why not? Shout out to the creator of the Evan pop, Evan. But if you don't know what it is, it allows you to pop the ball up off the ground while barely impacting your car, so it allows for an insanely fast recovery. You could even set up a wall stop with it and then go for something like a cross map double pop reset, so it's good for setting up aerial plays. I decided to get 3 Evan pops in a row before calling it a day, and the next day would be the last day of training before the big day 7. On day 6, not only did I get a new record on air dribble challenge, but I was also able to get a slightly better record right after. Unfortunately, I got stuck on level 7 again on air dribble hoops, and of course, right after the 10 minutes were up, I managed to beat it 2 times in a row in probably the best way I ever have. I only got to level 21 on the obstacle course because one of the levels held me up for a couple minutes, but just for fun, I tried level 25 again and was literally a second away from beating it. The final theme was Zen touches. If done right, the ball can glue to your car and you can set up anything from it, such as a pop reset. In case you couldn't tell by now, I really like pop resets. There were times where I'd get a hard touch while trying to do it, but I'd still be able to set up some other shot from it. Other times I'd get the soft touch, but it'd be in too awkward of a position to follow up. This mechanic looks so much easier than it actually is because most of my attempts looked something like this. But eventually, I popped off like crazy for... Oh, that's a highlight. Holy dude. Oh, 2 in a row. 2 in a row? But by no means did that mean I mastered it yet. So I continued training using some of the other shot setups in the training pack. After a good amount of practice, it was time for the final bonus mechanic, triple flip resets. As you can see, I was quite consistent with double resets, and I've even scored some in game. Ooh. But trying to get this triple reset became a nightmare because of how many times I got close to hitting it. Kind of like with double pop resets, there would be times where I wouldn't get the reset. And sometimes when I did, I was going way off target. There were also times where I did get the 3rd reset and scored, but I didn't necessarily score using the reset. I had to go a little bit over 3 hours to try and score it, but I finally did. 1, 2, 3? Alright guys, we're counting that. I don't care. I think that's good. Hold up. That was interesting. And then... Oh yeah, 100%, yeah. It was now day 7, the final day of this journey, but it was going to be quite different than the other days. I still started the day off with the daily warm-up routine though. I once again got 16 seconds on the air dribble challenge, but it was a few milliseconds behind my record. Then on air dribble hoops, I set a new record by getting to level 13, but I had no clue how to beat it, so I was satisfied with that record. Finally, I got to level 24 on the obstacle course, which was still one of my better runs. Now, the plan for day 7 was to actually play some ranked matches for the first time since I started started training. Before that, I warmed up a little bit of everything that I had worked on over the past 6 days. I decided I would play my ranked 1s placements for the day since that would give me the most opportunity on the ball to make solo plays. I wanted to focus more on going for risky aerial plays rather than getting the win. But before hopping into ranked, I played a casual 1s game to get the confident mindset that I needed. And for the first time in months, I didn't run into an AI in 1v1. Psych, of course this guy was lying about his name. But this gave me more opportunities to cook in the air. Oh! Oh no! Alright. It's pretty nice. After the game, I forgot to exit the lobby while doing the daily Wordle, so I accidentally joined another casual game against the same guy, and I had to pull out the signature move real quick. Okay, dude, just for fun, because I hate this guy, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, frick you, buddy. Yo, how fast was that? 124? Nice. Yeah, frick this guy, bro. Just cheating in a video game. Also, just ignore the score right here. I finally started my 10 placement matches, and right away in game 1, I went for my first aerial play. But my opponent immediately challenged me off the ceiling. This whole game, he was ball chasing like there was no tomorrow, so I wasn't able to go for any sort of freestyles. In fact, he was the one freestyling on me, so this wasn't off to a great start. In game 2, my opponent was being kind of weird with the quick chat spam. I was messing around in this one, going for stuff I usually wouldn't go for, which was my objective, but it made me lose pretty badly. I ran into the same opponent in the 3rd game, but I wanted to humble him, so I decided to really lock in and go for the win. There were still moments where I saw setups identical to ones from the training packs, and I'd go for something crazy like this sidewall double, or a simple wall stop to set up a free shot. Speed, shot, there we go. I made this guy forfeit halfway into the game and got him yet again in game number 4. This guy really tried to turn up his rage baiting like he was Dylan Brooks, but it didn't work at all. I got an opportunity here to do something in the air, so I went for a pre-flip into a flip reset. Even though it got saved, it was certainly a solid attempt. I got a little crazy here trying to go for a psycho, but I just got to clear to the other corner instead. And watching this play back, this could have been a good opportunity to go for a Mena Flip on the challenge to get a much better recovery. But for whatever reason, my brain didn't want to go for Mena Flips in game, and I'd do stuff like this instead. I destroyed this guy again, and that was the last I saw of him. The next game though was absolute cinema. After this backwall save, I got an opportunity to go for the sidewall double counterattack, but I was a bit late on the adjustment. Literally just a couple seconds later, I got the same opportunity, but I froze up again. The control I had on this next play though was really nice. Ooh. Eventually, this game would go into overtime, and I found myself in a situation where I had to get a defensive wall stop, and I executed it perfectly. I'm not gonna lie though, this guy should have ended the game a couple of times, but this happened. Yeah, oh my god, I freaking knew he was gonna do that. Take your time, buddy. Oh, not enough time. I'm glad that happened though, because what happened next was insane. This game is kind of shaky. Alright, what the heck is that first touch? Pop reset? Oh, there we go, man. I can't believe he let that happen, but despite how terrible that first touch was, I was able to recover it and still make a play. But before, it felt like it was guaranteed for me to concede a goal from that. In game 5, I went up against a peak SSL in 1v1 who you might recognize from when I tried reaching GC in 1s. So I got destroyed, and there weren't any highlights in this one. Next game, I got this nice air dribble pretty high in the air into a fake. Fake? Ooh, there we go. Later on, I saw an opportunity to get a double tap with some nice dodge control, but the opponent recovered quickly. However, there was a point where my opponent was out of the play, so I used dodge control yet again to try and get this ball towards his net quickly, but I lost control afterwards. I ran into the same opponent the next 2 games, but the next highlight came right here when he tried to ceiling challenge me and I maneuvered the ball around him with the Elmer's glue. We'll delay that a little. Perfect. I found myself down 1 with the final possession of the game, so I went for the risky cross-map play. But unfortunately, I ran out of boost and lost control at the end. And what better way to end the placement matches than against another bot? Pretty early in the game, I was in the same situation as the end of the last game, but this time I managed to score a nice shot while only using about 50 boost. I took off from the same spot again later on, but I got way too much separation from this reset, so I had to use all of my boost. I got the dub, going 4 and 6 of my placements games, which marked the end of the 7 days. So was it worth it? I would say so. I did notice some improvement in my air control each day through the workshop maps and training packs, even if it was marginal. There were some nice plays throughout the ranked session, but it's hard to get the full picture in just 10 ranked ones games, especially when some of the games were very grounded or had ball chasers, which made it harder to go in the air. So was 1 week enough? Definitely not, but I'll try to keep training and do the same warm-up routine every time before I play, so hopefully there will be a noticeable improvement in my consistency, especially in ranked 2s. If you want to follow along that, make sure to check out my Twitch streams using the link in the description. And while you're at it, if you want a chance to be a part of my next video, make sure to join the Discord server as well, because I'm going to be trying to recreate your guys' peak clips once again. I already made a video on that, so if you want to check it out, it'll be on the screen right now, along with another video that I think you'd enjoy. Otherwise, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to support this video if you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, Merry Christmas, and keep it tough.